Hey, what's up? All right, let us begin. Let me make sure. Hopefully, we got everything set up good with our sound. I think you guys can hear me. Hopefully, I see myself kind of in and out, like it's cutting in and cutting out. So I see you guys are jumping on. Yay! It's that time again, and I know we've got a lot of ground to cover. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Let me make sure my lighting is good. Hold on. Let me fix this light back here. I don't like the way it. Hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Oh, that looks even better, y'all. Okay. So we are here today to talk about lead generation. We've had, believe it or not, we've been going through this book right here, Triple My Listings, for 12 weeks. Hard to believe, but 12 weeks we've been going through Triple My Listings because even though the book itself is only, about 100 pages, 120 some pages, when you really unpack it, there's a lot of gold in there. And so, believe it or not, I've spent 12 hours disseminating this information, the information that's in this book, to you guys so that you can know exactly what to do when you're in your lead generation bunker. And the reason I did it is because so many of you were asking, hey, Knolly, what do I do when I'm inside my lead generation bunker? So hopefully, this training has been really, really helpful. I know it's been helpful for you. And we're going to finish it off today. We're going to kind of marathon it. We're going to finish off the rest of the information. However, if you guys have, Anthony Chambers is in the house. I see Tamia's in the house. She gave me a big heart. Hey, if you guys are in the house, throw some love at me. Throw some hearts, some likes. All right, I love you guys. Let's show the love back. So let me get my bearings on this because I want to give you guys some really, really good material that you're going to be able to use, especially as we're going into this new year. You're going to be able to use this material to succeed at your highest level. So let me just make sure that, because last time we were together, we talked about circle prospecting and we talked about FSBOs, another really, really good group. By the way, when we're talking about, thanks, I see the love, y'all. Woo, I love it. By the way, I just saw the announcement. Let me see if I can show you guys this. You'll get a kick out of this. Let me go to my photos. Okay, so I just got the announcement that these are the top 100. You can see that here, top 100 recruiters at EXP. It's hard to see that, but I'm way up there at the top. So it looks like because I've unlocked all 7 levels. Remember, here at EXP we have 7 levels. A lot of times people talk down on the whole 7 level thing because they don't understand that every single real estate company in America has multi levels. Okay, it's just that at the top, you've got, say, the founder of the company, and then you've got various owners, and then you've got investors, and then you've got management people there, then you've got regional owners, and then you've got franchise owners, and then you've got investors of that particular franchise, all the way down to the broker of record or the team leader. So the money flows all the way up multiple levels in every single real estate franchise. It just so happens that here at EXP, Glenn Sanford decided to flow that money directly to the agents rather than to everyone else because we're agent owners. So it just so happens though that there's only a handful it says across the entire company there are only a handful of agents that have recruited 40 plus to their first line. So and I'm in that number. So that's exciting. I like that because I was talking to a gal last week. She was like, so is all you do is recruit? I said, what I'd like to do is teach, train, and coach people to their ultimate greatness. But I've got to have people to recruit, to train, right? I'm a teacher. A teacher's got to have people to teach. And just like Jesus just didn't walk around talking to himself. He's bringing people in. And like I told you last week, he was gangster about it. He said, you follow me. Tonight I'm eating at your house. That'd be like me walking up to somebody and saying, hey, you're joining Mentorship Masters today. Leave everything you're doing. Forget about your other company. You're coming with me. That's gangster. That's the way Jesus did it. And so, we have to understand as leaders, we've got to have God puts within our path people that we're to lead. And so that's what it's all about. I mean, obviously, you've got to bring people in to hear the message. So yeah, I'm real big on recruiting, because if we don't bring them in, you guys, again, we talked about this last week, you can't be afraid to sell. The only way you're going to get somebody in your world is to sell them. Okay. You got to sell them on yourself, sell them on what you've got to offer, and then you bring them into your world. So sales is a big part of what we do. And we cannot throw any shame on that, because that's just what it is what it is. So I'm excited about that. But what I'm more excited about is jumping right into our material. Now, let me make sure. And I'm doing this because I actually have a bootleg. I've given all my copies of this book away. So I actually have a bootleg copy, not really a bootleg, it's a press copy. So the chapters are a little bit off, because whenever you write a book, for those of you that are thinking about writing a book, I've done it 6 times over. When you write a book, you're going to send that book to press. And what happens is they send you press copies, and the press copies are not really the final book. So you go through the press copies and you make all your edits that you think you should make. Sometimes I miss some, so there's typos. And I send these out to editors and everything, but you're always going to miss something. So what I have left is a press copy, and my chapters are a little bit different from the one you have at home. So let me just double check my chapter numbers. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, we're on it. All right. So let's begin, guys. And I know Mina had a topic that she wanted to talk about that we could maybe carry over to the next meetup, because I really want to get this out of the way. Those of you that are not good at finishing things, I'm real good at finishing stuff. So I like to finish what I start, and I'm going to teach you guys to do the same. Lead by example. So what we're going to jump in today is idea number 19. Remember, we've got 27 marketing ideas. These ideas are very critical, because you're going to be going into your lead generation bunker every day from 9 to 11. Okay. Now, trust me on this when I say this. I love you and I want you to succeed. Okay. Somebody had texted me, I think it was last week, about, Knolly, I just can't seem to get in the habit of time blocking. And I write about that in Success with Listings. If you've got the book Success with Listings, I have a whole section in there where I talk about this, a whole chapter, why agents don't prospect. It's a whole section actually about that. So, and there's actually 5 excuses that agents give, and they're all of them are null and void. Okay, they're no good. I just realized I don't have my computer plugged in. So hopefully we'll have enough juice. I've got 54%. So we should have enough juice to get through our session today. If not, if it's going really low, I'm going to run and go get my power cord. Boy, I'm telling you, I put a listing on MLS this morning. Okay, a brand new listing, and I'm rocking it. I'm trying to lead by example, y'all. And the new coaching company I've been telling you guys about launches next Thursday. I'm super stoked about that. Plus, I got a brand new product coming out. I'll let you guys know about this. It's a brand new product called A Weekend with Knolly. And so that's actually going to launch next Thursday as well. A Weekend with Knolly. That's where people are going to be flying, very small groups. About 8 people are going to be flying in to Austin, Texas, and they're going to spend the weekend with me in my home, at my house. And I mean, I'm excited about that. I just shot a video this morning all about that program. And I'm telling you guys all this because I want to inspire you. There's nothing that I do that you can't be doing and should be doing. You know, when Jesus had his homies, and by the way, a lot of people think that the people that followed Jesus were all men. Well, if you really look at it, most of Jesus' followers were women. Okay, go to any church today and you'll see the same thing. Most of them were female. But most of the women back then, and even probably now, they don't get the credit they deserve. But there was a ton of women. And by the way, it was the women that actually supported his ministry financially. When you go back, you can see that in scripture. So the point being that all this stuff that I do, I want you guys to be thinking and kind of putting in your head, hey, maybe I could do that, right? So I've got this whole weekend thing. People fly in on Thursday. They have dinner with me for a couple hours. And then for 2 days, we knock out nothing but high-level strategies to take them to high quantum levels. So that launches next Thursday as well. Got a lot on my plate coming into before Christmas. So let's get right into idea number 19, which is working with expireds. Now, when I got in the real estate game, the very first thing I got into was expireds. Okay. Now realize this: all of real estate is cyclical. Okay. Our game, and that's the game of this world. Okay. This is everything in this realm. Remember, we live in a realm. We live in a temporary prism. Okay. A prism that is a bit of a prison. But that's what we live in, okay? And so in this realm, everything is cyclical. That means there's cycles to it, okay? We have seasons. We have summer, fall, winter, spring, and so on, okay? By the way, in the original calendar, in God's calendar, everything goes from spring to spring, okay? From March to the following March. It's a calendar that's from spring to spring. When man got involved with it, he changed the calendar and made it from January to December, which is from winter to winter, which is from death to death, okay? The calendar originally, the way God created it, went from life to life, okay? When you look at the old calendars that the Jews used. So anyway, I digress. So the point is, everything is cyclical. So when you're talking about expireds, there's going to be cycles when expireds are relevant, and there's going to be other cycles when expireds are not relevant, okay? Where they're not relevant. When I got in the game in 2004, expireds were super relevant. Okay, today it's watermelon, y'all. Watermelon, fresh squeeze. Yeah, cut that baby and run it through the juicer. By the way, I'm just going to share this with you guys. Some of you guys may not know this. Every single fruit starts off as a flower. That fruit starts off as a flower. And that flower eventually becomes a fruit. Okay, it's pollinated by the bees, and then it becomes a fruit. All of the water contained within that fruit is the purest water that you'll find on earth. Okay, it's vortexed, okay, and then it's got all kinds of nutrients and phytonutrients that science has not even yet discovered. Like if you take an apple, science hasn't even discovered 90+% of the phytonutrients that are contained within an apple. Okay, and so when you're juicing these things, guys, you're getting, this is like liquid sunshine. I'm telling you, it's the best thing on the planet. Okay, so with expireds, that's a strategy that is always relevant, but is going to be more relevant during different times. Now, as we're getting into 2020, you're going to start seeing expireds come back, okay? And the thing about expireds is when it's not really a good, when it's a seller's market, stuff is just moving and there's no real reason to work expireds, that's when you want to go after old expireds. Let me say it again. That's when you want to go after old expireds. Okay, that means you're going to look and see people that have expired off the market 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. They tried, you could even go back 6, 7 years ago, and work old expireds, people that tried to sell at one time and just couldn't. They failed for whatever reason. Now, when I started getting into expireds, that was my whole game for years, but I was afraid to call them. Why? Because number one, I don't like talking on the phone. A lot of you guys, I've told you that before, but I just don't like talking on the phone. It's just not something I love. The second thing is, besides that, is I'm an introvert. So the whole idea of doing cold calls, it just scares me to death. Some of you guys love the challenge of talking to these expireds. I don't like it. I didn't want to be one of 20, 30 people calling them when their house went off the market. So the way I did it was I sent out a postcard, a letter, another postcard, another letter. Okay. And so it was more of a postcard and letter campaign. And I generated hundreds of expireds through that strategy. Now, here's the thing to think about with expired. I'm going to give you more psychology as I go through these different, really, we're talking niches, more the psychological factor behind it. So an expired is somebody that their home has failed to sell. So they're already pissed. I don't know a better way to say it. I mean, they're torqued. They're upset. They don't like real estate agents. They think that, their agent is the reason their home didn't sell. It could be, but probably not. Probably was price. They don't think highly of us. So when you go into that situation, you've got a lot of baggage that you're dealing with an expired. Now, on the plus side of the expired game, the expires, okay, they realize, number one, they've raised their hand and said, I want to sell my house. That's huge. That's big. That's why so many people go after them, because they've already readily identified that they're ready to sell. Number two, they've identified themselves as someone that would like to work with a real estate agent. Okay. I want to sell my house and I'd like to work with an agent. Okay. But my home failed to sell. So the second time around, what I do when I talk to them, they typically, when their home has failed to sell, they're going to want to interview multiple agents the next time around. So I asked them, hey, what specific criteria, John, are you going to be using to make sure that your home sells for sure this next time around? Okay. And then that's when you're going to use the strategy that we talked about when I went through my pre-listing package. Okay. Where when they go through the interview sheet that they need to use, that you're going to be using, given it to them for whenever they interview any agent to list their home. Okay. So in other words, you're going to send them your interview sheet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the call where we talked about my pre-listing package and all the pieces in there, because every single piece has a psychological component that's going to help you get the yes. Okay. So with expires, that sheet is probably the most critical piece of anything that I have that you're going to use to actually win the listing. I had one lady, her house expired. And I said, so how many agents are you looking to interview for the job of getting your home sold? And she said, she's got 14 agents lined up. 14, can you even imagine that? So with that one sheet alone, and all it is with the questionnaire, you ask them a simple question, and the question is, hey, what specific questions are you going to be asking the next agent to make sure that you don't go through this again, that your home actually sells? And they'll tell you a couple of questions. Well, I'm going to ask them this and I'm going to ask them that or whatever. Well, John, I like that. Or Shirley, I like those questions that you have. But did you realize that there are 10 questions that you have to ask any agent before you ever list your home? In fact, before you even allow them into your house, you got to ask them these questions. And most people don't know what these questions are, but I know what they are. Why? Because I work with real estate agents every single day. That's what I do. Now, Shirley, would it be beneficial to you if I sent this to you in a PDF? Could I email that to you? And you know what they'll tell you? I'd love to have that. They'd love to have that resource. So you send them, that interview sheet that you've put together with your questions, and that's going to help you. This gal that wanted to interview 14 agents, when I sent her that, she cut out 12 of them immediately. So she was able to say, you know what? These 12 don't make the cut. And it was between me and one other guy. Okay. We both went on the interview. I got the listing. Okay, so that's a very, very important, that's going to be your most important piece. In the book, I also give you a script for calling your expireds. And by the way, you can leverage your expired calls if you've got somebody that's good. I had a gal on my team that would call all of our expireds, and this is the script that she would use. And the whole thing was the script was actually anchored into getting into their hand a copy of your free seller guide. That's good. The free, the complete guide to getting their home sold. You want to get, I don't think I have a sample of it, but you know what I'm talking about. Your free seller guide, and that's going to help you get that listing as well. When you drop off your pre-listing package with the seller guide and your pre-listing video, they're going to say, this is who I should have hired the first time around. Okay. So that's really when it comes to working, what it is with working with expireds. You've got to have some backbone. You've got to go in there knowing that you're the best woman for the job or the best man for the job. You've got to have confidence. Okay. A lot of what I'm teaching you guys is helping you to gain confidence, because if you have confidence, you don't even have to have a script. You just come in like, hey, this is my listing. What are we doing here? In fact, you roll up to the listing, you put your sign up, and then you knock on the door. Huh? That's gangster right there. Well, I tell you that's don't do that, by the way, but that's something right there. So, but you got that level of confidence when you go out that you know that that's your listing, that you're going to get it sold for. So that's expires. Jumping into, and by the way, I'm just giving you bits and pieces of these because there's people that, in fact, like the expireds, I've got a guy that's already promised to teach us the expired game, spend like an hour with us teaching that whole game. Each of these could take, I could spend a day teaching you, but I'm not going to teach you the specifics of it. I'm just going to teach you kind of the pros and cons and the ideology behind each of these niches. Idea number 20 is to become the preferred divorce expert. The preferred divorce expert. Now, a couple of things to think about when you want to become the divorce expert. Number one, if you want to become the divorce expert, you've got to partner with divorce attorneys. Okay, and I'm not talking about playing around with this. Well, I went to a couple of attorneys' offices and I didn't get anything. That's not how we play the game, guys. You know, look, if Michael Phelps went and jumped into a pool and then he said, yeah, I didn't do so good the first couple of times. Look, you know, this is time on the task over time. If you want to be a winner, you got to get it. You got to get in the game, okay? People look, well, you can do that because you're Knolly Williams. Look here. When I was 16 years old, I left home. I was homeless, okay? 16 years old, I was homeless. I was homeless for a couple of years, okay? When I was 18, I didn't know anything. I'm not a college graduate. The highest level of high school that I finished was ninth grade, okay? Then I went to college, dropped out of that. So it's not like I have anything on anybody else. It's just that I'm in the game and I'm playing the game every single day. I go in my lead generation bunker. A guy was asking me, well, Knolly, how do I get in the psychological habit of going to my lead generation bunker? Well, you already in the habit, okay? It's just your mind that's telling you that you're not in the habit. You've been conditioned to time block since the day you were born. Okay. Did you take naps when you were 2 years old? I bet you took them every day. That's a time blocked activity. By the time you were 4 or 3 years old, maybe 4 years old, you had already learned how to brush your own teeth. Did you know that brushing your teeth is a time blocked activity? Did you know that when you take a shower every morning, that's a time blocked activity? You got to block out time to take a shower. Did you know that to get ready every morning, you got a time? Now, if you worked a 9-to-5 job, raise your hand if you ever worked a 9-to-5 job. You know what I'm talking about. If you worked a 9-to-5 job, that's a time blocked activity. You blocked 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night to rent yourself out by the hour, okay, for somebody else. That's what you did. And by the way, when you worked from 9 to 5, did you go in the middle of work and say, hey, I'm going to go to a movie right now? Or I'm going to go watch what's on the news. No, you were time blocked. You had blocked off from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening to work for somebody else, to rent yourself out by the hour, to do that. Okay, and that's what you did. Okay, so the whole thing about not being able to time block is crap. Okay, we all know how to time block. We do it every single day, guys. It's what we do. Okay, did you go to bed last night? I bet you did. Some of y'all did. Not everybody. Some of y'all are on that grind a little bit. But some of you guys, I bet you went to bed last night, didn't you? That's a time blocked activity. Did you know that? Yeah, I'm going to go to bed tonight and wake up in the morning. You had to block off time for that. Okay. Now you mean to tell me you can't time block for success? The only way that you'll ever receive a paycheck in this game is to time block. You can't receive a paycheck without doing it. So why not just do it? It's the easiest thing that you'll ever do in this business is to take 2 hours a day, sit your ass down and get to it. That's the easiest thing you'll ever do in this game. Okay. And why you guys won't do it? Why? Because you're afraid to succeed. Many of you, here's the thing, I'm going to be truthful with you. Many of you are afraid of what will happen when you become your ultimate self. You're afraid of you. Look, me in this world, it's just like the Incredible Hulk. I was watching a movie. We went to go watch the Incredible Hulk. And I'm telling you, when I was watching that movie, my heart was, it was intense, right? And I'm telling you, when you look or think about Godzilla coming down a street, okay, that street will never be the same. If Godzilla comes into your neighborhood and comes through your street, that street's gonna be tore up. I don't care what you say, that street's gonna be a mess, a wreck. That's how it should look when you came into this realm, when you came into this planet, when you came into this world, you gotta leave a mark. You got to leave a mark. If you just came in the world and then went out and nobody even knew you were there, what's the whole point? Why'd you even come here? You should have just stayed home. If you're going to come here, you might as well just be like Godzilla coming up through a street, tearing stuff up, right? When I leave the world, people will know I was here. I guarantee you that. My stain's going to be all over the place. It's like, man, that boy was a fool. All right. And I haven't even reached my ultimate greatness. I'm trying to get you guys to reach your ultimate greatness with me. Does that make sense? Are y'all tracking with me? Are some of y'all getting this? Are y'all putting down are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So here's the thing. When it comes to, we're going to get back to divorce, guys. That was the Holy Spirit right there. That's all right. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. But back to divorce. Okay. Some of you guys are playing around with these. Well, Knolly, I went to a couple of attorneys that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to fail the first couple of times. You might even fail for the first year. I don't care. Don't come to me like I'm gonna be sympathetic. Oh, well, I'm so sorry. Look, man, you know how many times I've failed? I've had a house foreclosed. Okay. My dream home, 6,000 square feet. I had to walk away from that with my tail between my legs. Lost everything. Okay. Look, I've been there. I've done that. Okay. I've had less than $1 in my pocket. I've had it to where my niece and nephew have had to come over with bags of groceries for my wife and I so we could eat. I've been there. You're not drawing no sympathy from me. I already know what it's like. Okay. I'm never going to be there again. And I'm trying to get you guys to never be there again if you choose. Okay. I can provide the drink, but guess what? You got to take the sip. And I don't care how look, okay, the fact that I'm in the top 100 of recruiters, who cares? Okay, I haven't even got warmed up. Look, like I say, the car hasn't even pulled out of the driveway. We're just getting started, guys. This year, look at this. This first year at EXP, that's practice. You guys think I'm really doing something? I'm just practicing. That's a warm up. I'm trying to figure this thing out. That any business that I get into, the first year into it, I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, let me press this button. What's that button do? What's this do? How do I do? What's this gear do? I'm just figuring it out. Now that I got it figured out, watch out, guys. We about to get it. The first year is just warm up. Okay, so we're about to get after it. Now with divorce, let's come back to it. Come on, don't track with me here. With the divorce sale thing, when you're working divorce, this is all psychology. Okay, all psychology. You're dealing with either an amicable divorce or a hostile one. Okay. Now, when it's amicable, that's cool, but that's not how it normally goes. Usually, they're not very amicable. Okay. What that means is the wife doesn't want to talk to the husband doesn't want to talk to the wife. It's his fault, her fault, and they're going to give you an earful of why the other person, the other party, what they did. Okay. So here's the thing: you got to become a counselor. You got to listen and be sympathetic. Okay. They're going to be pissed at the other partner, at the other person, and so they're going to be pissed at you. They're going to vent on you. Okay. Just think about it. People are kind of like garbage trucks. Okay. And they got all this garbage that they're full of. And every now and then, when they get to somebody or someone, they just dump the garbage they have. So it might be that they start dumping stuff on you. You've got to be resilient. You've got to have a backbone, and you've got to just be cool with it, because it's nothing personal. It has nothing to do with you, you know? So that's the way divorce is. Plus, here's another thing. You've got to have separate and distinct conversations with each party, because a lot of times they're not going to want to be on the same conversation together. Sometimes they will, but most of the time they won't. So when you're negotiating an offer, you've got to go to one party with all the information, and then you got to go to the other party with all the information. So you have to be very, 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 patient. You just got to be very, very patient. That's the divorce game. Now, if you get with the right divorce attorneys and you really stick at it, okay, and you really succeed at this, that could be all you do, and you'll be rich, okay? Because there's a lot of divorce happening, guys, a lot. And with not with every, but with a lot of the divorces, they've got to liquidate the asset. They've got to liquidate the property, okay? And if you get with the right attorneys, if you have a stable of attorneys and you do a good job for them, they'll be telling their other attorney friends that, look, nobody does it like Knolly Williams. I don't care who you're working with, but Knolly is on the case. Boy, he knows how to talk to my clients. He knows how to rope them back over to me. I mean, trust me, I love working with attorneys. Anytime that I've ever had a situation where there's been where we just can't kind of agree, and then the person has a lawyer, I'm like, bring the lawyer over, because usually they have a level head. Not always, but most of the time. In my previous company, I had 4 attorneys on retainer all the time. And so I got to really like attorneys. And so, they have their faults, trust me, but they do a good service in some cases. So divorce is a great niche, but you've got to learn the niche. You've got to master the niche, and you've got to align yourself with divorce attorneys. Don't play around with it, guys. Do it. If that's what you want to do, do it with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your soul, as scripture says. Now, the idea number 21, and I'm kind of barreling through these, and then I'm going to see if there's any questions, because I want to try to get through this. And I want to give you the little pieces of every single one of these, so that you can kind of decide if this is something you want to do or pursue or not. Remember, this is a book from which you can pick or choose what you want to do. You don't have to do them all. You don't even have to do 3 or 4 of these. You could do, in some cases, you could do just 1 or 2 of these and succeed at your highest heights, okay? Luxury, let's talk about that. That's idea 21, master the luxury market. Think about that for a moment. Luxury market. Close your eyes and envision yourself working and doing nothing but walking around, looking at luxury homes and walking into luxury homes and working with luxury sellers. Let me ask you a question, and think about this. What has prevented you from working the luxury market as your niche? Just think about that for a minute. What has prevented you from dominating in the luxury market? Okay. I can tell you what it is: fear, lack of confidence, the belief that you're not good enough. Okay. That one day when you get to a certain level, you'll switch to luxury. Why? I was talking to a gal this morning that she's just now getting her license, okay, she's going to jump right into luxury from day one. Why not? Okay, because the only thing that's keeping you out of luxury is either, number one, if you just don't resonate with that, that's fine. But I can tell you this. So it's number one, you don't resonate with it. And sometimes, most of the time, that's just an excuse. Because anybody, look, if you can get a bigger paycheck, why not? Okay, why not? So somebody said, man, I want to make $25,000 a month. Okay, well, me personally, I can make that with one client, 25,000. So I only have to get one client a month if I want to make 25 grand. You know, so it's just a mindset, guys. By the way, here's the cool thing. When you work the luxury market, these people are just like you and me. Okay, you know, I'm a luxury client myself. Okay, I'm in the stratosphere where I make that kind of income. I don't live that way just because I don't choose to. I'm what they call the new rich. Okay, Tim Ferriss in his book The 4-Hour Work Week, he defines what we call the new rich. My house is just a crash pad. Okay, I'm not trying to live in the luxury. This is like a way station. I come into Austin, lay my head down. This is like a hotel. And next thing I know, I'm somewhere else, right? So I'm not really trying to live that way, but it's fun. It's fun to live the luxury lifestyle, being able to buy whatever you want. My house is paid for. I own everything that I have. That's a loose term. We really don't own anything. That's a whole nother, that would take me a long time to unpack that. But in this realm, guys, we really don't own things. We're just stewards. See, when you come into this realm, you're just passing through. Scripture says it's just like a vapor, like a puff of smoke. You're here and you're gone, just like that. Okay? Because think about it, in the timeline of eternity, which Christ promises those that put their faith in him, in the timeline of eternity, this is nothing. This is like bang, gone. So here's the thing. Well, let's get back to this. Let's get back to this because I want us to finish this. Luxury, if you decide to work the luxury market, I was going to say these guys are just like us. I was at a luxury listing years ago, and this is the funniest thing in the world. The guy wouldn't put a shirt on. Okay, I'm in this house. It was about 500, 600,000 home, and for us, luxury is 500 plus. Some of you guys, luxury has got to be more than that. But here in Austin, luxury is anything over 500. And so I was like, do you want to get a shirt on? Like, you can go get a shirt. I'm cool. I'm okay with waiting. He was like, no, I'm good. No shirt, no shoes, just shorts on, And that's just how we roll with the listing appointment. These are just regular people. And when you meet them, they're cool. They're cool people. I was always told the rich were snobby, crabby, up, Now I'm one of them. And I'm not like that. I'm cool. This morning I actually went to Starbucks, got me a little, every now and then I'll get my little Americano, and I'm walking in with a beanie cap and everything. I'm just a regular dude. I'm just a regular guy. Okay. And so here's what I want to tell you about luxury. The only thing that keeps you from luxury right now, the only thing that you have to resolve to jump into the luxury game is just to make up your mind that that's what you want to do. That's it. Just make a decision. I want to do luxury. Once you've done that, that's the hard part. Okay. And then you move in the trajectory of working. It's not hard to figure out how to get in that game. If you guys are lacking for resources, I'll let you know. But again, this is just deciding what it is that you want to go with. Idea 22 is working with probate. Okay, probate, and I've done tons of luxury, I've done tons of expires, I've done tons of divorce, I've done tons of probate, tons and tons, and I like probate. Probate is one where the person is deceased, they've transitioned, okay, and they no longer live in this realm. And in a probate situation, okay, the person has either died intestate, which means they died without a will, or they died with a will. And somebody has to be appointed to liquidate the asset. That's it. And so in probate, what you're dealing with is generally heirs of the estate. And a lot of times the heirs can get pretty greedy. But the cool thing about heirs is that they just want it sold. They want it done. They want their money, or they want it over with. Okay. So they're able to move pretty quickly. They're not as emotionally attached typically. There's those situations where you end up with 12 heirs. I've had that. And those can get, when you got 12 decisions, but typically they'll assign a spokesperson. There'll be a trustee of the estate. You'll typically be dealing with that individual or the main representative of the sale. So when you get into probate, that's where you actually align yourself with attorneys that do a lot of probate, and you become what they call the preferred agent for them to liquidate the probate. Now, whether it be divorce, probate, when you're working with attorneys, they can't dictate who is assigned to sell the home, okay? But they can make a suggestion. So all they're going to do is they're going to throw your hat into the ring, if you will. So you'll be one of 2 or 3 agents, or maybe one of 2, or maybe even the only one that is suggested as a potential agent that could do the job. And by the way, I mean, if you've got enough attorneys in your stable, like if you've got 15 attorneys that are constantly throwing your hat in the ring, you're going to get a ton of listings from that. So probate is really good. I like it. It's an area that I really, really love. You're selling the home as is. We're not going to do any repairs. Now, there are some people that go in, fix up the home, and do all that. I don't. I believe that any home, if you adjust the price, it's as is. So all I got to do is adjust the price to where we can get it sold. That's it. And with a probate, that's not at all hard to do. Very, very simple. Idea number 23 is to brand yourself. Okay, there is a book that I love. I read when I was 28, maybe 27. It's called The 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. The 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. One of the things you guys may not know about me, you might, but I used to own a magazine way back in the day. I started that magazine when I was 23 years old, and it became the top magazine in the music industry for that field, for that genre, okay, of music. And I was the publisher, the editor, the graphic designer, the everything for that magazine. And so in those days, I learned about branding. I learned a lot about colors, about logos, about graphic design. I mastered Photoshop. I became just a whiz at Photoshop. And I would create this magazine every month and put it out. So when you look at, so the 22 Immutable Laws of Branding by Al Rees, highly recommended, a classic book to help you understand this whole concept of branding. Because a lot of times people see me and they're like, man, that guy has branded himself. Okay. Well, it's not just like an accident. Like you think the iPhone was an accident? Like a whole bunch of circuits just kind of was thrown into a bucket and the iPhone came out? No. You think the Homo sapiens species was an accident? Like we just came up from some primordial soup and then we became human? No. There was a master designer. And just like that, you've got to design your brand. You don't just sit back and let things happen to you. You happen to the things. Just like this. People say, well, how are you going to predict the future? I don't predict the future. I create the future. See, I already know what my trajectory is going to be and where it's going, right? So I just create that as I go, right? We talked about that on the last call, or the last time we were together, about imagination activation. Every single thing in this realm was imagined before it became something, okay? It was first thought. It was a thought. That thought was put on a napkin, okay, or whatever other device. Most of the biggest thoughts in the world were put on napkins, by the way. And then it became something, okay? So when you brand yourself, that's the whole concept. You sit down, you say, who am I? Who am I? Okay? You think about it this way. You go and you're gonna audition for the movie role, okay? A movie role of some kind in the movie. And they tell you, they say, hey, you got a part in the movie, but which part do you want to play? And you look and you got a handful of different characters, Just look at all the characters and decide who you want to be. You know, according to who God has fashioned you to be, put a lot of prayer into it. You know, ask the Almighty, God, what is your purpose for me on this earth? Where do you see me? What did you bring me here for? Okay. And then you pick the role. You pick the role that you feel God is leading you to, and you play your role. Play your role. You know, learn your script. Play your role. Be you. Be you. So when it comes to branding, that's all about creating a logo, a slogan, using certain kind of fonts that you like, picking your colors that people identify with, and your photo. Okay. There's people, we call this a brand Bible that we created for people. We used to create these for people all the time. They paid us thousands and thousands of dollars to create a brand Bible. So easy, guys. But people think it's hard. So we would make it easy for them and just do it for them and charge them a whole lot of money. But if you read the 22 Immutable Laws of Branding, you'll get the basics on how the biggest corporations in the world have created the biggest billion-dollar brands and how you can do the same for yourself. Okay, that's a great book, great resource for you to pick up. Idea number 24, we're rolling, guys. Woo, I can see the finish line. Idea number 24 is running targeted Facebook ads. Okay, it's becoming easier and easier to run Facebook ads. I used to teach Facebook ads. I learned it from James Wedmore, and then recently I learned it again from Ping Jun just a couple weeks ago. I'm always learning it because Facebook is always changing. And so the things that used to work are no longer working. And so I know Mina has done, in our group, Mina has done a lot of stuff with Facebook. She's getting a lot of great results. But what you want to do is you want to run targeted Facebook ads around your listings, okay? Boosted posts and so on. Now, a lot of times people, how should I say this? A lot of times we don't know what our objective is, and so we become a little too specific, is probably the way what I want to say. You should really be getting your name out there and becoming well known, period. If you had done the things that I'm teaching you right now a year ago, you wouldn't be struggling if you're struggling. If you had started implementing this stuff 2 years ago, the world would be your playground. That's it, okay? Here's what I want for you guys at least. I want you to create a world where your monthly nut, okay? Say that with me. My monthly nut is taken care of. Done, okay? Paid up, paid. So I don't care if you need $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, or like the gal that I coached 2 days ago that flew here from California to coach with me for a full day, $25,000 a month. That's what she needs a month, okay? I won't even tell y'all what I live on a month because, boy, I like to live. Look, I don't like to have any restraints on me, okay? Did you know, let me tell you this. Did you know people, oh, well, that's a lot of money, Knolly. Look, money is nothing but a promissory note. Money has no value. Money's not worth anything. Look, people say money's not, well, the money, you're acting like money grows on trees. Well, it's made out of paper. It does grow on trees, by the way. Money is not, look at this. Let me show you this. This is paper, guys. This is a tree. Money does grow on trees. I don't know if you knew that. Now, every single day, look, this is a promissory note. All this is, look at it, Federal Reserve note. By the way, it's not even federal. There's nothing federal about money, okay? By the way, did you know that the Federal Reserve is, first of all, it's not federal. They have no reserves, and it's not a bank, but it's called the Federal Reserve Bank. We live in a fiat system, F-I-A-T. Money is not backed by anything. It used to be backed by gold, so they said, okay? Now it's not backed by anything. It's nothing more than a promise. So when I give you $1, that's a promissory note that I'm giving you. It's worthless. It's just a piece of paper. Now, it is worth value to you. And so it's all psychological. It's all psychological. So every single day, that's what I want to tell you, 7 trillion. Study this. Every single day, $7 trillion moves through the marketplace. Every day, $7 trillion moves through the marketplace. Every day, 7 trillion, okay? That's 7,000 billions every day, okay? Now, we get the idea that money's stagnant. There's money over here, there's money over there, there's money everywhere. No, that's not how it works, guys. Money is flowing. So this morning, I traded $3 for a Americano, okay? They gave me a coffee that they traded dollars for, and that person that's working to give me the coffee is being traded dollars for time, and so on. It just trickles. So money is flowing. It's like a river, okay? There's nothing to say you can't get your net out and scoop up yours. Who's to say that, okay? So a lot of people trip. They get to tripping, like we used to say in LA, they get to tripping over money, and money has no value. So my thing is like, look, I don't mind living comfortable. Nothing wrong with it. Why not? Okay, we live in a golden age, and I don't mind taking advantage. Now, don't let it go to your head now. Don't let it go to your head. Remember this. Remember this. C.S. Lewis said it this way. Money is a powerful thing in the hand. Yes, it's very, very handy, by the way. Powerful thing in the hand, but a terrible thing in the heart. That's what money is. Money's good for the good it can do. So, that's running targeted Facebook ads. Look, we got off track again, guys. And then idea number 25 is to append every tagline to every conversation. So every single time that you have a conversation, remember how Brian Buffini teaches, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy, right? So what I always tell people is, oh, by the way, I'm looking to help 2 more families by the end of this month. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell? Okay. Remember, I'm looking to help 2 more families. I'm looking to help 3 more families, whatever that number is for you. So with every conversation you have, always remind people that you're looking to help 2 more families, or you're looking to help 3 more families. Just a pin. And that way you're not really, it's not like you're begging for business. Oh, I got to have another deal. I need another deal. By the way, when you're desperate, when you need money, you wear it like a cloak. You reek of lack, okay? And the Homo sapiens species, we don't know how this works, but we actually can, with our olfactory senses, we can actually smell fear. We can actually smell greed. We can smell lust. We can smell someone who is in lack and with a poverty mindset, and we avoid those people, okay? So you got to get into a mindset of abundance. That's where God lives. There's no lack with God. He doesn't even have a beginning or an ending. Talk about no lack. Okay. So that's where you want to be. You want to be where God is. Now, that's how do you append every tagline? Just get in the habit of thinking that way and talking that way, of the fact that you're looking to help 2 more families or 3 more families. Just sold postcards. That's an easy thing that you should be doing every time that you, I mean, it goes without saying, but I'll say it because most people don't do it, that every single time that you sell a listing, you should be peppering that area with just sold. And there's a company, I think it's is it MLS mailings? I can't remember the exact. I told Lucas the name of the company. Lucas, if you remember which one I gave you, it's one I used to use all the time, because what they'll do is they'll track when your listing sales, and they'll automatically send those postcards out to the people in that area. There's a bunch of services out there now, but you don't want to spend a ton of money doing this, but you do want to do it. Very, very important. I can't tell you how many listings I've gotten just by being that person. A lot of you guys are quitters. You're quitters, and so you'll quit after the first 2 or 3 times. It didn't work. I'm not a quitter, guys. That's why I'm successful. That's why I'm getting mine. Look, if I know where I'm supposed to be, I don't quit. I showed up. It's like I'm gonna stay here till I get my paycheck. You're gonna pay me. Why? Because I already knew when God sent me into this. He said, "Hey, this is where I want you to operate. This is the realm for which I want you to operate in." Okay, And so he sent me there. You know, when you go on a listing, you're there to pick up a paycheck. And you should leave with one, right? You leave with the listing, which is ultimately just like this dollar. That's all a listing is. Hey, I promise to pay you when it sells. And when it sells, guess what? You cash it in. No problem. You did your job. A worker is worthy of his wage. Now, idea number 27. Oh, we had 20. Ooh, we already at the end, y'all. We actually got 2 more. And then I'm going to stay on for about 3 or 4 more minutes. And then and then next week, we're going to, I'm open to suggestions for what you guys want to learn. So idea number 27 is to partner with We Buy Houses, the We Buy Houses people. I used to have a stable of them all the time, and you should have a stable of these. Because when they go out and value a house, most of those houses that they go to, maybe most of them you wouldn't even want to list, by the way. But most of the ones they go to, they're not going to buy. So they could easily say, you know what, this house is not for me, but you should call Lucas, or you should call John, or you should call Lee, or whoever it might be, or Charles, or whoever. And that person could help you, you know. And so if you've got 10 of these people throwing your name out all the time, guess what? You're going to get some listings from it. You will. And then the last thing I want to leave you with on this whole thing is, and this is something that I did throughout my whole career that most of you guys will never do because you're afraid, and that is only ever market for seller listing leads, okay? Only ever market for seller listing leads. I'm telling you, with every single ad that I've ever done has been to generate more seller leads. Now, obviously, I've advertised my own listings, okay? But again, the whole idea behind that was to generate more listings. The sellers loved it because I was marketing their property, and I loved it because people saw that I had the listings, and I'm generating more listings by doing it. Right? So every single ad, like when I purposely go out there and advertise, I would always do nothing but advertise for seller listing leads. Now, here's the thing. People, this gal asked me week before last, I think it was, she said, you know, I'm getting a lot of buyer leads, and there must be something going on because I'm attracting a lot of buyers right now. I said, yeah, there's something going on. And what it is that you're sending out a signal to buyers. Okay. Why? Because probably you're afraid to work with sellers. Like, it's just, you have fear. You got some fear around that. And so so these buyers keep coming at you. Whenever you see certain things show up in your life that are over and over and over again, the same thing, that's the signal that you're sending out. See, we're like magnets. Remember, we have a positive, we have polarity in the human body. We have a negative side and a positive side, okay? Just go back, guys, and listen to your wishes, your command, okay? It's all right there. We have a positive and negative side. We're always sending out signals. So if you're not a magnet, people should be like, man, she's a listing magnet. If that's not happening for you, then you got the polarity reversed. So here's what happens when you reverse the polarity on the magnet. It starts to repel. Have you ever seen that, where you have reverse polarity on magnets and they push each other away? Okay. So you're sending out signals. So the seller's coming at you. Hey, I got a listing. Now that I got a listing for you, or John, I got a listing for you. Boom, and it goes back away. Hey, Lucas, I got this listing. Boom, it goes back. Why? Because you got your polarity screwed up, mixed up. That's where you need to call my boy Artemis to get you fixed up on that, right? But here's the thing: when you got it working in rhythm and sync, your whole life is one miracle. Let me say it again. When you have your life on sync with the Holy Spirit, Scripture calls it walking in the Spirit, by the way, New Testament. When you have your life in sync like that, your whole life is a miracle. It's like living your life as a prayer. See, my life is lived as a prayer to God. I have a whole, guys, don't even get me started on this, but I have a whole session that I want to do with you guys at some point when you're ready on purity, inner purity. See, God has called us to be pure beings. And that means we have to give up anything that is holding us back. I don't, if it's a vice in your life, I don't care if it's alcohol, I don't care if it's drugs, pornography, whatever it is, you got to get rid of it. You have to get to the point. And by the way, there's certain movies that I like to watch. I like to watch Westerns. I like to watch those Westerns, y'all. But here's the thing. There's a lot of movies that I will not allow myself to watch because they're just not good for the mind. You got to watch what you input is what you output. Okay. And what you put, that's why Jesus said we got to be pure. We've got to watch. We've got to guard the mind. We've got to guard the eyes. I don't let myself look at everything. That's the reason why I haven't watched the news in at least 13 years. Knolly, what's going on with this? I don't know anything about it. I don't watch the news. Why? Because I guard what goes into my eyes. Okay. Certain things I'm telling you guys, purity. If you will live a pure life, okay, miracles will happen. It's just like fasting. Those of you that have ever fasted, you know, I do a news fast. I fast and abstain from all garbage. I don't let that crap come in. It doesn't get into my head. Okay, in as much as possible. Okay, now we live in the world, guys, so we're going to catch glimpses of crap. But in as much as possible, okay, I try to live a pure and holy life. We call it piety. Okay, we call it piety. Very, very important to live that way. And it's not hard because God gives you the strength to do it. So, guys, there's a lot of comments here. Ooh, I love it Lucas put the link there. Thank you, Lucas. I see Patty Lynn's got some comments. Anthony's talking about purity. Yeah, it's so critical. I'll end with this. And, when I was 15 years old, because I think this will help somebody. So when I was 15 years old, my dad, the basement of our home was full of pornography. Okay, well, what do you mean it was full of? Well, my dad was into pornography. So when we would go to the basement, he had a room set aside in the basement that was just full of magazines, all that. And he was like, he didn't care. He thought I was 15 years old. I was man enough to get. So what does a 15-year-old kid do? A little boy? I got into it, right? What I learned later is that's like witchcraft. Okay, it's just you're letting something into your life. It's just the same reason I used to like to watch those homicide detective shows. Guys, they look innocent, but trust me, you don't want that crap in your head. I used to love to watch about like what is that stuff they have like forensic files and all that. Trust me, to this day, I love watching that stuff, but I haven't watched it in years. I'm not going to say I don't like it. Okay, but let me tell you this right here. Just like there's certain things that I won't put into my body. It don't mean I don't like them, guys. It doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just that you have to guard what you allow your eyes to see. Did you know this? I'm gonna end with this. I keep saying I'm gonna end, but I am. The eyeball is nothing more but an extension of your brain. Let me say it again. Just look at it. Okay, this is God's honest truth. When you look at the eyeball is attached with some cords to the brain. So all the eyeballs are, okay, is just an extension of your brain. It's the piece of the brain that we can actually see on the outside. So the eyeball is an extension of the brain. I'm not going to let anything get into these. See, the eyes are the window of the soul. And when you're taking in all that crap, you're taking it right into your soul. And it's not good, guys. It's not good. And it doesn't lead to anything that God can use. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys today. We have finished. Woo-hoo, we finished the 27 marketing ideas for free seller leads. Only took us 12 hours, 12 weeks, with a lot of the Holy Spirit interspersed in between to go through it. I wish you guys success as you journey out. Let me know what you want to talk about. I didn't give you guys a lot of time to talk this week, but it's okay, right? Because you got some good value. But next week, I'm going to try to give you guys more time to chat. Let me know what you want to talk about, and let's get to it. God bless. get back to work, and I'll see you next time. Adios.